was now president is Comrade Shri Krishna Rao. Vice president is Gangadhar Rao and Murthy from Railways. Recently, our president underwent eye operation. That is on Monday, he underwent an eye operation. So he has been prohibited from seeing any of the screens in computer or TV or on mobiles. Of course, he will be present in the meeting with audio only. At the time of MC meeting, when we discuss agenda items, if required, his intervention will be sought for where he will speak. As far as entire proceedings of today is concerned, I request our Vice President, Comrade Gangadhar Rao, to preside over the meeting and start the proceedings. Mr. Gangadhar Rao, please.
So, Mr. Gangadhar Rao, unmute ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. Gangadhar Rao, unmute ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ.
Now you're able to hear me now?
Yes.
So I thank Comrade Radhakrishna for having made me president for today's function. And I wish all the participants and all the elders a very, very happy Elders' Day today. Now there's the first item. We'll go for our chief guest introduction and then welcome. I would like to briefly give the profile of Comrade K. Raghavendran, who is our chief guest today. He was former Secretary General of NFPE, National Federation of Postal Employees. Present General Secretary, All India Postal and RMS Pensioners Association CHQ, that is AIPRPA, and Deputy General Secretary NCCPA, National Coordination Committee of Pensioners Association, New Delhi, and he is the coordinator of TUIPR for Asia, that is Trade Union International Pensioners and Retirees. And he is a member of Technical and Research Commission of TUIP&R. Now I request our General Secretary, Comrade S. Radhakrishna, to welcome the chief guest and also all the participants in this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Gangadhar. So, comrades and friends, today we are October 1st is observed as an Elders' Day. Trade Union International, for which our NCCPA is also affiliated. As you know, Trade Union International is an organization which consists of trade unions representing both the public servants as well as the public sector, private sector, etc. It is an international organization which takes care of the interests of the workers all over the world. Now there is about 3-4 years back, they have formed one wing within that, pensions and retirees wing, for which our also Comrade Raghavendran is also a coordinator. They have called when a call today to observe with a slogan, struggle for decent life for elders. As you know, senior citizens, irrespective of the country to which they belong, in their evening of life, the proper care, taking proper care is not only the responsibility of their families, but also the responsibility of the entire society and the government's concern. Without going those details, I think which Comrade Raghavendran will be covering in his speech. On one issue I would like to tell you is about the pension issue itself. Even of the famous DS Nakra judgment, that their pension should be equal to the status at which they were living. Finally, we could achieve it partially in the 7th Pay Commission, where parity in pension between the past and the present retirees have been achieved for central government pensioners. But if you look into other things, see the conditions of the EPF pensioners. Even today, their minimum pension continues to be 1,000 rupees. They would earn a lot of salary, but when question of pension comes, a meager pension they are putting. And go to financial sectors. As and when pay revision takes place, the pension revision is not taking place. They all, right, those who are covered by EPF, those who are covered by financial sector pensioners, those who are in social sector, if a pension is increased from 500 rupees to 800 rupees, a big announcement is made by the government. But can we exist with that? Even for the central pensioners, 70% of the pensioners among the central government are getting a pension which is far less. And see the condition of the family pensioners. In the name of economy or in the name of the pandemic, the DA was frozen from, as you know, from now it has been restored, but without arrears. So today, decent, our own BSNL pensioners, the revisions are not taking place. So public sector pensioners, including BSNL pensioners, financial sector employers pensioners, EPF pensioners, for them the parity in pension is not between achieved with the past pensioners and the present pensioners. They are all on the struggle path. On this day, when we are observing the International Elders Day with the slogan, decent life for senior citizens, it is our duty to devote ourselves, work for the cause of them. And those who are covered under NPS, in spite of CNDG's recommendation of minimum pension should be assured, government or the EPFRDA has not come out with any minimum pension assurance. So these are the tasks that before us. While we are celebrating this International Elders Day with a slogan for decent life, struggle for decent life for pensioners. On behalf of the Coordination Committee of Central Government Pensioners of Karnataka, I commit to the NCCPA that we are with NCCPA and all the steps they take to achieve that parity and decent life for the senior citizens. I extend warm welcome to K. Raghavendran. Of course, he's a veteran leader of the central government employees movement. As our president has already put it, he was the Secretary General of the National Federation of P&T Employees after railways and defense. For example, from today, our defense employees. Suddenly, those who are central government employees, they have become a foreign service employees for the defense corporation. As you know, it has been split into 7 corporations. It has become effective from 1st of this, but it is today itself has become effective. And this pandemic situation has been used by the government to put brakes and bulldoze the rights and that workers have enjoyed by through their struggles. And today, that is also a very sorrowful day where our defense ordnance factories have become a corporation. So after this railways and defense, the postal pensioners, and they are the leading front for the Confederation of Central Government Employees and Workers. Whether it was the constitution of JCM or anywhere, the NFP stood strong. At that time, it was NFPT stood strong with all other central government employees. And Comrade Raghavendran was the Secretary General of that association. And after retirement, he has formed All India Postal and RMS Pensioners Association, for which he's also working in the same pattern as the NFPE, and he's the Secretary General for that association. He's the Deputy Secretary General for the National Coordination Committee of Central Pensioners, the Coordination Committee of Pensioners Associations, and coordinator for the TAU, P&R retirees and pensioners. And he's a very eloquent speaker. You will be watching it, a very clear, with a perspective, and with the minimum words, he puts the points very thoroughly. I extend warm welcome to Comrade K. Raghavendran for this meeting. After this Comrade Raghavendran address and of celebrations of this International Day, our management committee meeting will resume. At that time, only the management committee members are requested to be present. Others can, after this inaugural functions and after Raghavendran's speech, they can withdraw from the meeting. Now, I request, without standing between you and Comrade Raghavendran, I request Comrade Raghavendran to speak on the importance of today's day. Corporate Raghavendran, please.
ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Comrade President Gangadhar Rao, Comrade General Secretary, COC, Comrade Radhakrishna, Comrade Bhaskar Rao, our senior leader, and all senior leaders and friends. I am really very happy to address a meeting of Karnataka State COC on this occasion called by the Trade Union International Pensioners and Retirees. It is really very encouraging to note that the pensioners of Karnataka also voiced the day in a very beautiful manner and taking the call of the Trade Union International Pensioners for a decent pension, decent life to all pensioners and senior citizens. That is a very, very important call today. As explained by our General Secretary, COC, Comrade Radhakrishna, the call emanated from the United Nations resolution. United Nations General Assembly, they have moved a resolution and adopted it in the year 1990. To be precise, on 14th December of 1990. According to that call, every year we have to celebrate the World Day of the Older Persons. Trade Union International Pensioners and Retirees was founded in the year 2014 as one of the wings of the WFTU. And after the foundation, the Trade Union International had adopted the call of the United Nations Assembly. And every year, October 1st, is being observed to highlight the basic demands of pensioners and retirees. Comrade Radhakrishna had explained very fine manner the difference between the pensioners of central government today and the so-called pensioners of other industries. Similarly, the world is divided into pensioners drawing pension from the state exchequer, pensioners drawing pension from their own contributions, and also a lot of senior citizens and retirees who do not have access to any kind of social security after their retirement. The world is divided into such sections, India also. The Trade Union International Pensioners and Retirees decided to highlight the plight of the pensioners world over and moreover the retirees world over. That is why instead of forming a Trade Union International for pensioners alone, they have formed the Trade Union International Pensioners and Retirees. That is the main purpose of forming this organization in such a manner. The United Nations, every year they declare a theme for the observation of this day on October 1st. This year, 2021, the United Nations has declared the theme that we should observe it, digital equality for all ages. We know very well that there is no digital equality in existence. The new generation is capable of handling the new technology. As we grow older, even the old employees of any industry, we can see in the banks, we can see in the post office, we can see in the RMS, we can see in the LIC, everywhere. The old generation who are on the verge of retirement, 5 or 10 years to their retirement, they find it very hard to cope up with the technological changes in that particular industry. No industry is an exemption. Everywhere the changing technology is causing this problem. And we, the pensioners, after retirement, we are growing fastly, and naturally our access to technology is very limited. The digital world is growing like anything, but we are not part of the digital world. We are far away from that. We cannot use the digital world. We cannot use the internet banking. Even our own comrades, I have seen in my own organization, that they struggle to send an SMS in their phone. It's the most easiest way is the SMS sending. Sending SMS messages by using our telephone is one of the easiest job. Then what can I say about WhatsApp and Facebook and YouTube and other technological things that our pensioners are unable to access to? The internet banking is far away. So naturally, the digital divide divides the senior citizens and the younger generations in the world. So the United Nations had decided to observe the call of Day of Elderly on this October 1st with the theme that the digital world should be for all ages. That is the call given by the United Nations. Trade Union International Pensioners and Retirees, since its foundation in 2014, it started its call, synchronizing the call for world pensioners, highlighting the plight of the pensioners and the retirees from 2016. So today is the 6th annual call of the TUI-PNR. We are observing naturally the world over. Every year, October 1st, we are highlighting the plight of pensioners. We do not have a decent life. Even the central government pensioners, not all the pensioners can claim that we have a decent life. We are having a decent life only because our sons and daughters, they are earning in foreign countries and are quite capable to afford certain minimum requirements of the family. That is why we can say that we are today having a decent life, but not all pensioners. Our General Secretary had correctly said that the central government pensioners, at least, we have a system of drawing pension from the government. After the 7th Central Pay Commission, they have given this option 3 to all pensioners. Because we were struggling for option 1, they have given the option 3. But for our struggle for option 1, option 3 would not have materialized. After option number 3, we the pensioners draw pension according to our present day basic pay calculated notionally in the pay matrix with reference to the actual pay scale that we were drawing at the time of our retirement. We have a claim there, it is a different matter. It is not the occasion to elaborate. We are having a claim that whatever cadre or post we belong to, we retired. If we retired from HOG1, if retired from ASPOs, IPOs, or if we retired from postal assistant, whatever cadre we retired, today the pay scale implemented for the particular cadre or post, in that particular post, my notional fixation should be done and my pension should have been fixed. But even today, that is not the case. You know very well, we are given fixation, notional fixation in the pay scale that we were drawing at the time of our retirement and not granted to the serving cadres or the post. But anyway, after option number 3 implemented, we are drawing a pension. We can call it a pension because to some extent we live with these amenities. But Comrade Radhakrishna ji had explained very well the plight of many other pensioners. What about the NPS pensioners? Yesterday also I attended a retirement party of an NPS pensioner. He became regular after 1/1/2004. Before that, he was ED employee for 34 years. No use. He will not get any regular pension from the government. the annuity may bring him 1,000 to 1,200 only. So this is not the actual situation earlier of the central government employees. All were drawing pension according to our laws paid on. But today the situation is changed, and the NPS pensioners are becoming the majority of the central government employees. Shortly they will become the majority. Today lakhs and lakhs of railway and postal and other employees are coming under NPS. There is no guarantee that they will be able to live after the retirement. Today, yes, today the salary they draw, they can live happily to some extent, but after retirement there is no guarantee. They will draw very, very less. Today they are drawing only around 1,000 rupees as pension. Old age pension is 1,000 rupees today. A old age man who never a part of any central government services, even he can draw 1,000 rupees pension in many states. But our pensioners, NPS pensioners, are drawing the same quantum as pension. How can they live a decent life after the retirement? They cannot. Similarly, Comrade Radhakrishna had explained the plight of the EPF pensioners. Minimum pension is only 1,000 rupees. There are many schemes. The central government had declared many schemes of pension in our country. Yes, Atal Pension Yojana is one of the schemes. Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandan Yojana, this is another scheme maintained by LIC. Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme, it is another pension system. Employee pension scheme, it is also there. So there are many pension schemes in India also. But ironically, take any pension scheme other than those maintained by LIC. LIC maintained pension schemes are for lump sum investment. It is possible only by central government or public sector retiring pensioners who draw lump sum cash towards gratuity and commutation. Out of that, they can invest 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs with the LIC and get 8% returns because LIC is capable of giving 8% interest rate, which no other fixed deposit can bring us. People may prefer LIC pension schemes, but it is only for 10 years. And we can invest only if we draw sufficient cash from the government as social security at the time of retirement. Not every pensioner in this country, not every senior citizen in this country, not every person retiring from unorganized sector, he cannot think of investing anything anywhere. So the other pension schemes which are maintained by the central government and state government, they are not at all catering to the requirement, and they are drawing pension only around 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 like that. Definitely a decent life is not possible, not at all possible for any of those pensioners. This we must very clearly understand and keep in mind. Today, some states like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal, there is a reference to these states in the internet also. They are maintaining some kinds of pension schemes, but even there, it is not sufficient to live a decent life. It is only a marginal amount they are capable of giving as pension, better than other states, no doubt. But that is not sufficient to live a decent life. That is the plight of the pensioners and retirees today. And coming to the medical care, we know very well that the medical care, we are very much not in a position to claim anything out of it. The medical claim in our country is very, very backward. Except the government hospitals where we can go and stand in the long queue and all that. All private hospitals which boast of cleanliness, which boast of modern machines, which boast of modern medical treatment, that is affordable only if you have a medical insurance in your hands. Otherwise, you cannot afford to. Or you should belong to an affluent section. Normal retirees who are not capable of even entering these private hospitals, how can we say that medical care is taken care of by the government. It should be the responsibility of the state. Medical requirement is the responsibility of the state. Whether he works under central government, retired under central government, worked under public sector, worked under unorganized sector, every person's medical requirement is the responsibility of the state. That should be the way. That should be the practice earlier days. But today it is not there. We are all going to certain hospitals because we can afford to go there under CGHS. CGHS is making it possible to go to some private hospitals which are empaneled. But what about the pensioners who are living in non-CGHS areas? Non-CGHS area pensioners have to come to Bangalore or any other city where we have this CGHS system in order to go to the private hospital empaneled under CGHS. And we know very well that every state in India is very vast in topography and definitely not in a position to travel miles and kilometers to reach the CGHS empaneled hospitals in the country. If this is the situation for CGHS, what about the pensioners who are not a part of the CGHS? There is no system of ROHSC for the pensioners. Non-CGHS area pensioners can get admitted and take treatment only from the money out of their own pocket, or they should be ready to invest it first, claim the reimbursement, on rejection go to the court and fight a legal battle for years together, and finally that particular pensioner may win the case and he may be able to get the reimbursement of the medical expenses under CGHS rates, but not all pensioners. This is the condition. So medically also, we are not in a position to claim that benefit that is existing in very many countries, because the medical insurance system is also very weak in India, and there are many problems in the medical insurance also. Pre-existing diseases are not covered, and there are other agents in between who try to cheat the medical insurance companies, and that way hospitals are also charging extra. So there are problems with the insurance also. But insurance is not at all available to our pensioners who belong to organized central government industry. This is the condition under which we live. Therefore, comrades, we can very well say that the medical care, we are lagging behind many other countries and definitely not in a position to climb it. So along with the decent life, a decent life for pensioners and all senior citizens automatically means a decent medical treatment availability to the pensioners and retirees also should be part of the decent life. And today we can say that we are not having that facility in our country. And third is the important is the housing. How many of us are able to construct a house while we are in service? Not every employee, not every one of us. Many of us tried and failed. We could not construct a house during our long service because the money paid under HBA is not sufficient to construct a house. That is the reason we are not able to raise the extra money from other sources. So this is the condition with which we live. So many pensioners today live in rented houses only. And what is the rent? Rent in urban areas, not less than 10,000 rupees minimum. You can find a residential accommodation in cities. In city like Bangalore, it may be more. Even for 10,000 rupees, you cannot find a suitable accommodation for living and all that. If this is the condition under which we, the pensioners, central government pensioners, we live, what about the condition of other retirees, other pensioners who draw only very less pension? Definitely they cannot afford to live in a decent house. They can live with their families. If there is no family, then their life is miserable. They cannot live in a decent house. They have to live in very, very poor places only, definitely not in urban areas. This is the condition of housing. Then we take the facility of transport. What is the transport facility that we are having? People say that senior citizens are allowed concessions in railways, flight, and also in bus service and all that. But we know very well, along with the pandemic, the senior citizen concession had been taken away by the government of India. Today we can travel in trains, but not with the concession that was given to us earlier. Today there is no senior citizen concession available in Indian Railways. All the trains are running as special trains and we have to pay the entire charges even though we are senior citizens. Take the case of private buses, omnibuses. We cannot afford to, pensioners cannot afford to travel. Definitely the pensioners belonging to very many services and unorganized sector who are not even drawing 1,000 rupees as pension, how can they pay more than 1,000 rupees for a single travel in an omnibus from one place to another? Therefore, there is no transport facility also. And all the more very important is the water. We know very well because you are in Bangalore, I am in Chennai. We know the problem of water very much between us. Without water, you cannot live. Without water, we cannot live. But there are states like Rajasthan where potable water is being brought by the ladies by traveling miles and miles. After that only they can get some potable water, and that water is to be brought to the houses and they are drinking water from that. Any contaminated water, if they drink, that will result in physical problems they will face, and there is no medical care also for that particular people who are suffering from drinking contaminated water. So the problem of potable water is very much there. If we are a governor, yes, very good distillery water will come from Delhi to Rajasthan, but not for all. We have to drink the contaminated water only. This is the condition where the pensioners and naturally the retirees are facing very much. And agriculture, take the case of agriculture. There are people beyond the age of 60. They should be treated as retirees and they should be given pension. Unfortunately, other than one state in Kerala, no other state, there is any system of giving pension to agriculture employees. But even in Kerala, the money that the government is capable of giving is not sufficient for a decent life in Kerala. So therefore, naturally, the problem of the pensioners and retirees are very much serious. And it is not only in India, in many countries of the third world, it is a major condition. And even in advanced countries, the pensioners feel that because of the system change, because of the contributory pensions coming and taking over the place of state giving pension, the problem is compounding. And today, the world over, it is a problem for the pensioners and retirees. They are not able to live a decent life. There is no second opinion about that. So unless we the pensioners, unless we the retirees, who are constituting a major chunk of the population, our own population is 52 lakhs according to 7th Central Pay Commission. Central government pensioners drawing pension from the government, we are 52 lakhs. Then what about the public sector? What about the state government? There are nearly 1 crore of pensioners in the state governments of India. Then public sector. And then other pensioners who are drawing less pension, around 1,000 rupees, they are several crores. Then there are crores of people without any pension, they are living in poverty. So we constitute a big majority, a very big chunk of the Indian population. But the condition is we remain unorganized. Only organized sections can cry and draw something from the government. It is the responsibility of the government. We cry through our own organization. Individual cry, nobody will notice. We cry through our organization. When our organization raises a hue and cry, then naturally all the pensioners are involved and the government is forced to pay attention to our calls and cries and give us something in return. That is how today we are able to live. That is how today we are able to get an extra pension. Today, how we cried and got the DNS allowance also instead of impounded for life, we have got it back. That 11% is given to us. Only arrears is still to be drawn, and 3% more is coming. But because of our own cry, because of our own system of organization, because of our own fights and logical conclusion of the fight, that we are able to get something out of the unwilling government. If that is the case, imagine the plight of people who are there in millions without any organization to unite them. So it is our responsibility. We cannot be self-centered. Our own pension, our own upliftment, our own medical care, our own dearness allowance. We cannot be self-centered, comrades, because we were self-centered. The central government employees were self-centered. We were thinking that our pension is permanent, but the world has changed, and it is changing permanently. And now there is a big section which is not capable of getting any pension despite being a government employee. That is, new pension system has come and taken over. And this is the condition tomorrow also. Unless we fight today, unless we join with the workers today, unless we are organized today, unless we take the initiative to organize the unorganized pensioners and retirees under a fold in order to make a fight very strong, definitely our existing pension is under threat. We are not able to project any demand in future also. So this is the condition. We have to take the responsibility. Instead of being self-centered, we should become magnanimous. We should pay attention to organize other people. We should pay attention to organize the unorganized pensioners, unorganized retirees. And today, the Trade Union International Pensioners and Retirees is giving us a banner, is giving us a platform universally on all over the world. Today, that organization is the only organization which is highlighting our problems in the ILO also, which is highlighting our problems throughout the world. So we need such a platform. We need such an organization. We have to organize ourselves. We have to unite ourselves. There is no question of different pensioners organizations functioning on their own. All of us should join together, and we should be ready to fight for the unorganized and the retirees also. That is the way in which our position is also automatically strengthened, and our struggles with the existing employees and federation, with the existing working class. That is how we are able to preserve our position. We should not forget, I have told in many meetings, that only because of our joining with the central trade unions, only because of our joining the struggle path along with central trade unions, and because the central trade unions projected the demand of NPS as one of their major demands. Today we have got two breakthroughs for the NPS employees also. One is the family pension. If an employee dies in service, even though he belongs to NPS, his family is ensured of family pension at the same rate of the old pension system. That is number one. Number two, the retiring employee of the NPS, they will be getting their DCRG gratuity. Earlier, that was not the case. They were not given any gratuity at all. But today, the gratuity is also given to them. So these two things, the DCRG gratuity to the retiring employees of NPS and the family pension system to the dying employees under NPS, these are the two major breakthroughs that we can get only through the united struggle of the Indian working class. Without joining them, without strengthening them, we cannot advance. This is the reality. So, comrades, I would like to conclude with this appeal to all of you that the Karnataka COC and all the pensioners in Karnataka, you are taking the right path in organizing this protest day and observing this World Elderly Day with highlighting the problem of decent pension, decent life to all pensioners and all senior citizens. That is the correct path. I would appeal to you that you take more interest in all such movement in future also and be a part of the Trade Union International. I will appeal to you to join the TUI directly and play your due role in future also. With these words, I thank the organizers, particularly Comrade Radhakrishna, General Secretary of this organization, and Comrade Krishna Rao, who is the president, who is unable to attend today. He is having regular touch with me. I am also having regular touch with him. He is also one of the veterans of the pensioners. After Comrade Bhaskaran, he has taken over and he is running the organization of PNT pensioners in Karnataka and part of the COC. So all of you together, I will appeal to you that let us march together, let us march with speed, and let us win over all the demands. And Trade Union International, pensioners and retirees, Zindabad. With these words, I conclude my speech and thank all of you. Thank you very much.
So, friends, I think in a very brief and elaborate manner, both he has clubbed, has elaborated the problems that is before the pensioners movement today. I assure on behalf of the Coordination Committee of Central Government Pensioners of Karnataka that we have held various programs like Dharna, etc. Whenever a call has come from the NCCPA, and we individually, each organization together, we will be with the NCCPA on all these issues, and we are one with the trade union movement also in Karnataka. And when he was mentioning about the medical care issue, one issue that is there, which we have also highlighted through various correspondences, our autonomous bodies pensioners, they are not having any kind of health care, even though they may be residing in the CGHS area, but they are not covered under health care also. Not only that, these autonomous organizations like Coffee Board, etc., they are being reorganized. What will be the effect on the pensioners? We are very ignorant, because as far as serving employees is concerned, they are trying to solve one issue, but they will be transferred to Agriculture Ministry. What about pensioners? They are silent about it. These are the certain issues which will bring it to the notice of the NCCPA in future for taking up with appropriate authorities. And on behalf of the CC, I request Comrade Raghavendran to send his extract of today's speech, transcription of today's speech, so that 4 of our associations are publishing the journals. They can publish it for the wider circulation among the members. With that, I thank Sri Raghavendran for participating in today's, because she is very busy today, because in the afternoon he has to attend only in the Tamil Nadu, Chennai itself, they are observing a program. Then the NCCP is having a webinar at 4 o'clock. In all this, he has to be actively involved. In his busy schedule, he has made it convenient to attend our meeting today. I thank him for his participation. Thank you. I think it is unmute Comrade Raghavendran.
Thanks, Comrade.
Oh, okay. Now I request our management committee members to remain in the meeting, and we will discuss the agenda items. I request Sri Gangadhar Rao to preside over the management committee meeting, where we have to take certain important decisions regarding the holding of general body, etc. And Suryaprakash will be joining us within a few minutes. This thing. Now we will be taking up the management committee proceedings. Last meeting we had held was on December 17th. Afterwards, we had not held any meeting, but we had a special general body to approve the revised bylaws and rules and regulations. The memorandum of association and rules and regulations of the CCGP was amended. The amended rules and regulations were presented to the Registrar of Cooperative Societies, and Registrar of Society has in turn has approved that, and we have made it operative from the 1st September of 2021, because we received the approval only by the last week of August. Therefore, we fixed the date. As I said in the beginning itself, some important aspects of this will be circulated. That revised MOA and rules and regulations will be circulated. Important changes that we have made is we have increased the management committee strength to 30, that is 21, out of which office bearers also have been increased. All these things we have done it. And we have to also, it was decided in the December annual general body meeting held on December 17th last year that elections were due, that elections have been deferred till these amendments are carried forward. And the existing committee continued to function, office bearers are continuing to function as the members. CCGPA is continuing. Now we have to hold our annual general body, as well as under the provisions of the revised rules and regulations, we have to hold our general body. All these issues we are going to discuss in the general body, in this management committee meeting.